Bonjour et bienvenue. Welcome to the chapter 2, lesson 2 of the beginner's course. Before we start with today's topic, I'd like to talk a little bit about my approach or the approach which I think is correct. See, whenever you start learning a language, and I've said this in my earlier videos also, we try to learn different elements. So, what are the different elements? Few important ones are a subject, pronoun, preposition, verb. We learn them separately, which is also required, but where we actually struggle is to put them together and to be able to form a sentence or understand all those things when they are put together in form of a sentence. All right. So whenever you will learn French from a book also, ideally in a good book there will always be a paragraph or text sent in form of sentences even for beginners, and first you read that so you see everything, all the elements as a whole, and then you start learning what were the different elements which went into making that text, and then you understand the meaning and the usage of them. So that's what we are going to do. I will take you through a small text, few sentences, very basic level, and then we will try to understand what are the different things, what are the different elements, subjects and verbs which are there, and then you can learn or memorize those words. All right, so let's start. What is the topic today? It's about talking about yourself. Parler de soi. Parler is a verb, okay? Verb is a word that shows action. So parler de is a preposition which means of. You can take notes if you want, or you can stop, pause the video and note down as you go on, because that's how you'll learn, okay? Parler de soi. Soi means oneself. Parler de soi or se présenter. So présenter is present yourself. Now the first section is all about questions. Imagine somebody is asking you these questions, or you are asking these questions to somebody. All these questions are related to knowing someone. Okay, je is a subject pronoun in French which means I. Je demande des questions. Now just read with me or just listen to me and try to understand the pronunciation. Don't worry at all if you're not understanding the meaning. Je demande des questions. I will tell you the meaning later on. First, I'm just reading. Comment tu t'appelles? Comment tu t'appelles? Comment vous appelez-vous? Comment vous appelez-vous? Let me stop and tell you something here. In French, there is a very clear distinction between formal and informal speech. So tu means you, and vous also means you, but tu is informal. It's like those who know Hindi. In Hindi, you have tum and aap. Please excuse me, those who don't understand Hindi, it's okay, but in Hindi also we have this similar distinction between formal and informal. So it's the same way in French. Comment tu t'appelles? Comment vous appelez-vous? Which means what's your name? I will break this down further, don't worry. Quel âge as-tu? Quel âge avez-vous? Quel âge as-tu? Quel âge avez-vous? Again, from informal and formal variants of the same sentence. Tu viens de quel pays? Tu viens de quel pays? You're coming from which country? Vous venez de quel pays? Où tu habites? Où habitez-vous? Peux-tu épeler ton nom? Pouvez-vous épeler votre nom? Quelle est ta profession? Quelle est votre profession? Now go back to this. Comment. So from these sentences, very few sentences, you are learning question words also. How to ask a question. Comment is how. You can note down. Tu, I already told you. Then comes this verb, appeler. So in French, you have three groups of verbs, and the largest and the simplest and the most common, easiest group is er ending verbs, which end with er. So this is appel. Every verb will be conjugated differently with different subject. Okay. Uh, like in English, be is a verb, okay? B-E-B is the main verb. But when I will say I am, you are. So am and are different conjugations of the same verb, which is be. So you have to understand that in French also, every verb changes its forms according to the subject. Okay? Comment vous appelez-vous? Literal translation of this is how do you call yourself? But in English, we'll say, what's your name? Quel âge as-tu? What age do you have? It's a weird, it sounds a little weird when we say it in English, but that's how French people say, talk about age. They say, how many years do you have? They don't say, how old are you? How many years do you have? So if somebody is 20 years old, they'll say, I have 20 ans. 20 years. Okay? Quel âge as-tu? Quel âge avez-vous? Tu viens. Viens is another conjugated form of a verb venir. Venir. V-E-N-I-R. Venir. Tu viens de quel pays? Quel. Q-U-E-L. Quel is an adjective. Quel pays can be used as pronoun also. Don't get confused. Just remember that quel means which. Tu viens de quel pays? You come from which country? Vous venez de quel pays? Same verbs. Huh? These two are same verbs, different forms. With tu, you will say viens. With vous, you will use venez. If you keep patience and learn this way, you will slowly get a hang of how the language, how different elements of the language function in French. Où tu habites? Where do you live? Où habitez-vous? Habiter is another verb which means to live. Okay? Peux-tu épeler ton nom? Épeler. Similar to appeler. Épeler. Okay? Épeler is to spell. Peu is a verb pouvoir. Pouvoir. P-O-U-V-O-I-R. Pouvoir. Can. Can you spell your name? Pouvoir. Same verb. Pouvoir. Whenever it's vuna, most of the times the verb conjugation will end with ez. Pouvoir, that's how you can identify it. Pouvez-vous épeler votre nom? If you see my earlier videos, you'll know that there's something called liaison in French. So this word is ending with S, which is a consonant, and this is starting with a vowel, so we pronounce them together. Vous épeler votre nom. How do you spell your name? Quelle est ta profession? Now I need to tell you something really interesting. Don't get scared. This quelle and this quelle is the same word, okay? But there is something called being in agreement with the noun. So pays is I'm sure you know, there's a video that I've made on this about the gender of the words. Every word has a gender. So pays is a masculine word, so we are using quel. And profession, everything that ends with S-I-O-N or T-I-O-N in French, you can note this down. Every word that ends with S-I-O-N or T-I-O-N is a feminine word. So we put this, which is feminine form of this word. So, quelle est ta profession? What is your profession? Which is your profession? Quelle est votre profession? Okay, now read all of them together. Once again, please read with me. Try at least. Comment tu t'appelles? Comment vous appelez-vous? Quel âge as-tu? Quel âge avez-vous? Tu viens de quel pays? Vous venez de quel pays? Où tu habites? Où habitez-vous? Peux-tu épeler ton nom? Pouvez-vous épeler votre nom? Quelle est ta profession? Quelle est votre profession? Okay. Now these are the answers. What is the heading here? Je me présente. Se présenter. So je me présente. I present myself. So now we are just answering these questions. Okay. Je m'appelle Rohan. I have taken a common name, Rohan. Je m'appelle Rohan. You can put your name, and that's how you say. That's how you tell your name. J'ai 20 ans. 20, V-I-N-G-T, 20 ans. J'ai 20 ans. V-I-N-G-T ends with T, so we are pronouncing the T and A together. I have 20 years. Don't translate it like that. Say I am 20 years old. Je viens d'Inde. I come from India. This D and this D is the same. Why? There is an E missing here because this word is starting with a vowel. So we removed the E and we put it like this. That's what happens in most of the words where there is a vowel conflict. Don't worry about these things. There are so many rules, you can't learn them overnight. Okay, so petit à petit, step by step, slowly you will get a hang of the language the more you read. Je suis indien. I am Indian. Indien. Everything ending with IEN will sound like this. Indien. Now if a girl is talking, if say I have to say, I will say je suis indienne. So I will add N and E. Je suis indienne. J'habite à Mumbai. Remember this habite, same thing, conjugated with je became habite. Why did I remove the E from je? Because H is ashmute. So H is also considered as a vowel and it's silent also. So the sound coming is habite. So we remove this E. J'habite à Mumbai. Now you have to spell your name. R O H A N. You need to do this when you're telling someone your name. They need to write it down and you have to tell them the spelling. Je suis un médecin. IN, un. IN ending, un. Je suis un médecin. Je suis un professeur. You can add any profession here. If you're a girl, you'll use un. And if you're a boy or man, you'll use un. Je suis un professeur. See, now just by reading these sentences, you learned so many things. You learned about verbs, so many verbs I told you. Subject, je, tu, vous, all these are subjects. Pronoun, you learned pronoun also. So these are pronouns sujet. Prepositions, a, the, these are prepositions. A and the. What is a preposition? Preposition is a word that establishes relation between two words. For example, the book is on the table. The book is on the table. So on is a preposition which is telling you about the relationship between the book and the table. And other vocabulary also you learn médecin, professor, and indien, no, so many things. So if you just give like half an hour and work on this text, try to understand all the elements which are there, you would have learned a lot. And that's how you can progress every day with a new text, and you will keep on learning many things. You will also understand them. Not you see, mugging up won't help. So you will understand, you will know how to use them, and you will be able to speak also. So that's all for today. I hope you liked it. Please put your questions in the comment section, whatever queries you may have, and I'll try to answer them. Have a good day. Bonjour, bon courage, bonne journée. Bonne journée and bonjour, you know the difference? Bonjour we say when we meet someone, and bonne journée we say when we are taking leave.